So let's start to crochet this motif following the pattern and see what will happen. I will zoom out a little bit that you can see the whole picture here, an entire diagram, and we can follow together. So first let's talk about diagram just for a minute. The oval small sections like that, all of them right here, they are chains. This sign means double crochet. Little crosses like that or X's, they are single crochet stitches. Little black dots right here and here, they are slip stitches. Those little loops like that, they are picots. Each picot consists of chain 3 and connected in a little loop like that with a slip stitch. And there are also red circles here. They are these lines indicate that we will use packing cord. So let's start from the very beginning. The start is right in here. This is our beginning of the work. Chain 5. Chain 5 and connect the chain into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on a diagram we have slip stitch. Also, if you follow direction by the book, also we will need to connect this with a slip stitch like this. After this, I will crochet over the around the little ring and over this short tail, so that I don't have to weave this anymore later at the end of my work. So we have slip stitch, and now we are at this place. We will crochet chain 4, and then we will crochet 11, I think 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 double crochet stitches, and each double crochet separated by a chain. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the ring, double crochet stitch, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't forget chain 1 after each double. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 11th stitch, the last stitch, chain 1. And now, after you crochet over this short tail, you can simply cut it off. Be careful not to cut your stitches. It's very easy to do with the sharp scissors. So after we finished, we are right in here. I made last chain 1, and then look very carefully right here. We have black dot. This is a slip stitch that we're going to make into the 3rd stitch of chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 3rd stitch. We'll make slip stitch and we will make chain 1. Also, we see that we have a red line. We're going to crochet over the packing cord. And what I do, it is not in the book. So first let's make the slip stitch, and then I will show you what I do, how I add my packing cord. So let's make slip stitch into the third stitch. Here it is. I made the slip stitch. And now, when I will make my chain 1, at the same time I will put the packing cord. I use packing cord in 2 strands. It looks much better than use single crochet cord, unless the cord or thread that you will use for packing cord will be thicker, much thicker. There is thread that is number 3. It's much thicker than number 5 and number 10, so you can use that one, but I like the thick packing cord. So fold my packing cord on half and place that loop on the hook. And this is when I make my chain 1. So I basically make chain 1 through the loop of the packing cord and the last stitch. And this is how I connect my packing cord to the work. And now we will crochet the next round over the packing cord, red lines, and into these slots, the spot where the chain 1. So we will crochet there 2 stitches around each chain, around each separation between double crochet stitches, and 1 single crochet on top of each double crochet. And when we will come to the end of the round, we will again make slip stitch. Here it is, our black dot. Slip stitch basically always will be made into the chain 1. This is why we make chain 1. Chain 1 gives you a height of the next round, and when you finish your round, you connect your last stitch to the chain 1 with a slip stitch, and then again make chain 1. So we will come back to this place in a minute after we will make our second round. So first of all we made chain 1, and now we are ready to crochet single crochet stitches between stitches. Then also don't forget you have packing cord here now, don't leave it anywhere. Then into the top of your double crochet stitch. Like if you crochet this as tight as I am, not easy sometimes to get through the stitch. And again 1, 2 between the third stitch on top of the, if you can make it, try not to poke your fingers, be very careful, and crochet between. When you know the pattern and you made the first round correctly, there's no need counting. I don't count. I know that 2 stitches between double crochet stitch, and then 1 double single crochet on the top of double crochet stitch, and continue crochet this way to the end of the round. And make sure that once in a while you probably will have to stop and adjust your packing cord. And again into the it's not easy to show the video with this hook. I lost my stitch. Okay, the last stitch right in here. Actually it's supposed to be what? I lost my count. Well, I know that one has to be into the stitch, and again I spliced my thread. Don't you hate this when it happens like that, when you want to crochet and you splice your thread or something else happened? So okay, I fixed that, and I can go continue to finish this round. Again, 2 stitches between double crochet stitches, then on top of double crochet 1 single, and again between around the chain 1, and again into the top of the double crochet stitch, and I think we're done. Yes, I'm done right here, and I will adjust at first. First thing I will do, I will adjust my packing cord, so to look nice on the back. And now I wanted to show you something very important. So at the end I made my last single crochet stitch. We will make slip stitch and then chain 1. First slip stitch. Now I was writing about this in the written instructions in the group, and in order for you to make even round and where the first and last stitches don't have shift, normally it will be last stitch will be higher than the first stitch. So what you have to do, drop packing cord on the back. This is how I bring it on the back and hold it with your fingers, and find that chain 1, here it is, and make a slip stitch. Then you can make, so you will have this nice and even round that is closed with a slip stitch, and the next round also will be even. So after that, after you drop the packing cord, slip stitch and then chain 1. Then again you can pick up your packing cord and crochet according to the diagram. According to the diagram we have those loops right here. In most books we have just a line under the X, which indicates you have to crochet into the back loop. Here we have loop like that. In some books, in some literature, and mostly it's in Russian duplet, they have 2 signs. One is like that, and another one like is as in our diagram, like this. So if you have one that facing a round area facing you or going down, you crochet into the front loop. And when you have something like we have in our diagram, you crochet into the back loop of each stitches in the round. So what we will do, we will crochet first in over the packing cord into the back loops of each stitch, single crochet stitches and picots. So first we'll make 2 single crochet stitches according to the diagram, and then we will make picot. So let's do this. Remember, pick up your packing cord, here it is, and we're going into the first stitch, into the back loop, and make your first stitch, single crochet 1 and 2 single crochet stitches. And then we'll make picot. Each picot consists of chain 3, and then you make your slip stitch. How to make these picots I showed in the video tutorials. You go into the first stitch or last stitch that you just made, single crochet, and then draw the threads through the top of that and the side leg of the stitch and make slip stitch, and then continue crochet. And according to the diagram and to the book, we have 3 single crochet stitches between picots. So this is how you continue crochet the last round. And the last round you repeat 3 single crochet stitches and picot. 2 and 3. Again picot 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and insert the hook into the last, looking for last single crochet where it is, where the top loop, front loop, and the side loop. Insert hook in those 2 loops, pull threads through both, and close picot with slip stitch. And continue again with the pattern into the back loop over the packing cord, 3 single crochet stitches. So I will stop here. You will continue with the pattern like this. And let's look at the diagram. So after you finish this round 3, after the last picot, you will have to make 1 more single crochet stitch and finish with a slip stitch here. And again, how to finish it that your round will be even. Again, you will have to drop your packing cord. I already finished it, but you remember, like in the second round, if you want to see this kind of thing, that your end and the beginning of the round are not visible to you, because if you're not working really good and you work sloppy, you will see right away that the last stitch will be higher. You want to avoid this, so especially when you crochet over the packing cord. So when you make the last single crochet stitch right here, this one after the picot, what you do, you made your single crochet stitch, then move the packing cord on the back, here it is, on the back, and make your last slip stitch. Then after that, after your last stitch, insert the thread, your working thread, into the needle and pull this thread through the first stitch or chain 1 over there. This was supposed to give you this even ending where you don't see the shift of between the end and the beginning of the round. After that, turn your motif on the back, and as I showed you before in video tutorials, we will sew over this packing cord just a little bit, probably 5 millimeters. We will sew it around those stitches on the back. Sometimes you can, with a good tapestry needle that is thin and fine, move packing cords through those stitches, but I honestly will not recommend doing this because you can do a better job by sewing. So what we will do, we will sew a little bit over the packing cord. I'll hide this, weave it in, hide it the way I say it, hide it, but probably the correct way to say weave it in. So we sew around the packing cord quite a bit, 5-7 millimeters. You have very fine thread, so you don't need to do it too much and for too long. And make sure when you do this, sew it tight. After you're done, 5 millimeters probably will be enough for small motifs like that. This is when you can cut your packing cord. Make sure not to cut too close to the last stitches where the thread is. You don't want to cut this thread, you still need it. So your packing cord is done, we've cut it off, and probably just a little bit will be visible here. Don't worry about this. You will never see it on the front, and with time it will just go away. Now we have to weave in this last thread. Don't cut this yet. Sometimes people just go and cut thread right away, and it's a huge mistake. You cannot do that. You have to weave in your thread. So I will weave in on the back, into the back where the last round of stitches. Of course, make sure that you have a good needle with a nice eyelet so that you can thread this needle easily, and the needle that is in diameter, very fine needle, so that you can go through those stitches easily with the needle and move it. And if it's not easy, you remember what we have. We have little pliers. Pliers are for this reason. When you cannot move your needle, you can use little pliers. I use pliers that are very small, can fit in my hand. You can buy them at Joann or any store where they sell supplies for jewelry makers. And this is how you go. I would go around one time, just make one round, and then you can cut your thread. Also, warning again, I repeat myself quite often, make sure when you cut last thread or packing cord, don't do it too close to the stitches. You can very easily cut your stitches with sharp scissors. So when motif is done, this is what it is right now. For your next lesson, you have a whole week. You can crochet those motifs as many as you like. Here they are. Enjoy.